American Top 40.
Radio plays them, record stores sell them, Billboard ranks them, and AT40 counts them down. Well, now we're up to a love song written by a 13-year-old girl. Now, what does a 13-year-old girl know about love? Not much. This girl says she had to do some in-depth research on romance to write that first hit. She's Debbie Gibson, who's now 16 years old and living in Long Island with her parents and 3 sisters. Before Debbie was in kindergarten, her family realized she had a gift for music. Wrote her first song when she was only 5, Know Your Classroom, a cool tune for the grammar school set. But as Debbie got older and more serious about becoming a professional musician, she realized that just isn't top 40 material. What can a kid write about? There's only so much life experience that a young suburban girl has been exposed to. Debbie knew she needed material that would interest a more mature audience. So she turned to her closest resources, television and the love lives of her older sisters, Karen and Michelle. Debbie would sit in front of the TV with pad and pencil, taking notes on shows like Cheers, and she'd interrogate her 2 sisters about their boyfriends. Moment they'd come in from a date, Debbie'd be asking, well, what'd he say? How did you feel after he said it? Karen and Michelle tolerated their little sister, and Debbie wrote and wrote. By the time she was 16, she'd written about 150 songs. Debbie told us, I started living through television and my sisters. I'd see a romance on TV, or my sister would break up with a boyfriend, and I'd write a song about it like it was me. You see, I've had boyfriends, but nothing serious. Music is my boyfriend right now. End of quote from 16-year-old Debbie Gibson. Here she is having romance with our chart. At number 9, Debbie Gibson and Only in My Dreams.
It was only in my dreams.
Only in My Dreams. Debbie Gibson, first time in the countdown for the teenage singer and songwriter from New York, and she's made the top 10. Up 4 notches to number 9 this week as the countdown rocks on.
Kisses coast to coast.
Well, now we're up to a recent number 1 song, and it's by a teenage overachiever. A girl who, by the time she was in 6th grade, was working 8 hours a day at singing, dancing, and acting, and she still had time for school. This showbiz child prodigy is now 17 years old, and she told us how it all started. She grew up on Long Island, New York. When she was 4 years old, she started piano lessons. At age 6, she started dance lessons, then singing lessons. At age 7, she began auditioning for Broadway and off-Broadway musicals. And when she was a little older, this talented youngster started acting in TV commercials for fast food restaurants and candy bars. Now, this isn't the case of the parents who pushed their kid into show business. She pushed her parents. She says, quote, I used to cut ads out of the newspaper and leave them on the table writing on it, "Take me." I used to drag them to the city for auditions. It was all me. End of quote. By the time this girl was in 6th grade, her schedule at one point looked like this. Go to school, after class, lessons in piano, singing and dancing. Then practice, practice, practice. At night, every night, she performed in an off-Broadway production of South Pacific. She also auditioned for a part in a TV commercial, which she got, and then filmed later that week. And remember, she was only 11 years old. Well, now she's 17, and all that hard work has really paid off. Her first album has generated 4 top 10 hits, and 2 weeks ago, her current hit went to number 1. This week at number 7, here's Debbie Gibson and Foolish Beat. Foolish Beat. 2 weeks ago, it was number 1, fell to number 2 last week, and now at number 7. Debbie Gibson's biggest hit yet. 7 hits to number 1 as the countdown rolls on.
The hits from coast to coast.
Well, now we're up to a song written by a 13-year-old girl. Her name's Debbie Gibson, and she's from Long Island. Now, she actually recorded the song when she was 16 and peaked with it on the chart at 17 years old. She says she's been writing songs since she was only 4 and has now stockpiled more than 200 of them. This became her first top 40 hit at number 26 on the year, Only in My Dreams.
Only in my dreams.
17-year-old Debbie Gibson has the 26th most popular song of 1987, Only in My Dreams. This is our international presentation of the year's top 100 songs.
The hits from coast to coast.
Shadoe Stevens on American Top 40. Last week, I mentioned that this next singer predicted all 5 of her top 40 hits through personal market research, testing out her songs on family and friends. Her latest tested tune moves up 4 notches to number 30. Here's Staying Together, Debbie Gibson.
You can't go, boy.
Staying together, Debbie Gibson's latest hit moves up from number 34 to number 30 the second week on, following up her number one song, Foolish Feet.
The hits from coast to coast.
Now, we're up to our story about the teen prodigy whose songwriting career began at age 12. That's when she wrote a song about America and walked away with a $1,000 prize. She actually began writing songs at the age of 5, but she didn't try to do anything with them until a New York City radio station sponsored a songwriting contest to celebrate America. Debbie, who was 12 at the time, wrote a song called I Come From America, which includes the lyrics, I may look like I'm from Korea, I may speak like I'm from Africa, I may have an Italian accent, but I come from America. Debbie's mom took her daughter's tape to the station just hours before the contest deadline, and each day, mother and daughter would stay glued to the radio to see who would win the $1,000 prize. Imagine their excitement when her name was called. The winner? Debbie Gibson. It was a turning point in her very young life because, as she explains, quote, it was the first time that other people noticed my songs other than my family, and I'd won $1,000 for it, and the contest was open to people up to 22. Unquote. Debbie was a very mature 12-year-old, so she took most of her prize money and put it in the bank. But she did keep a few dollars out to buy some new clothes. Today, Debbie Gibson's songwriting skills are paying even greater dividends, and she can afford all the new clothes she wants, thanks to her 6 top 40 hits. Here's the latest, moving up 5 notches to number 3. Debbie Gibson's Lost in Your Eyes.
I get lost in your eyes.
Climbing a smart 5 notches to number 3 this week on CT40, Debbie Gibson with a song she wrote and produced, Debbie's Lost in Your Eyes.
Casey's Coast to Coast.